Welcome everybody. You'll never guess
Hi.
what I did. In the last week, I used my green paint to make this lovely traffic light system to highlight what we're going to talk about today. So, if you look down here with the green for go, it's all about keeping well and following our daily routine, and we're feeling well down here.
Hmm.
Whereas if we move up to the amber or the flashing amber, things are beginning to, you're maybe beginning to feel a bit worse. And the red represents a kind of a crisis situation. So today we're going to talk about this amber piece here, and it refers to kind of something called early warning signs. And they're a very important part of the RAP program as well. And early warning signs are internal, subtle, they're not always obvious. They're signs that let you know that you are beginning to feel worse. So it's about being more self aware and recognizing when things don't feel right in yourself. So you might ask yourself the question, is your daily routine working for you? Or are you doing the things that you enjoy? And are your wellness tools working for you? So to give you all an example, my early warning sign, a huge early warning sign for me would be, I suppose, if I'm going throughout my whole day, like from morning to evening, kind of in autopilot, and I'm not being mindful about anything I'm doing, I'm just going through the motions, rushing from traffic to the office, to the desk, to doing multitasks, not really focusing on things, maybe not having good conversations with people where I'm present. So that's a sign that things aren't going right for me. And
Yeah.
how I deal with that, my action plan, is it's kind of a work in progress. So I usually would have to just take a time out and sit with myself. And usually it's in my car where I have a peace and quiet. And I would take a few deep breaths and try to ground into the moment and think, what is going wrong? And then usually I find a good action plan is to start going to bed earlier, because it's generally my sleep that has been affected, and then it's letting me slip down. My well-being is slipping down and I'm into the amber zone. So if I can start as an action plan with going to bed earlier, it helps me deal with that slip down in my well-being. um what about Deirdre, Kira, Lorna, what kind of early warning signs? What rings a bell for you when I talk about early warning signs?
Yeah. Well, when you were talking, Elaine, and asking us to think about what our early warning signs were, the first thing that automatically came to my head was my bedroom floor, because I know that when I can't see the carpet, that things are beginning to break down. And I don't always, I mean, so it could be that the floor is full of, shoes, boots, handbags, jackets, the clothes I wore yesterday, the clothes I wore maybe the day before. And it starts off gradual, just a pair of boots or just a jacket. And then suddenly it could be a week's accumulation of things. And I don't notice it, when it's happening piecemeal, but suddenly, I get up to go to the loo in the middle of the night and I'm falling over a pair of boots, and I know that what I have to do when that begins to happen, it's a sign that I'm just feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I'm not taking care of myself, because very much part of my self-care routine, one of the things is ensuring that my environment has order, and then it helps my head have order. Does that
Okay.
make sense to you guys?
So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
clothes on your floor aren't part of your daily routine.
No, it's not part of my daily routine. So obviously my daily routine is slipping, that I'm not picking the stuff up as soon as
Yeah.
I throw them there. So yeah, I do find that it definitely is an early warning sign for me when my environment becomes chaotic. It is reflective of that fact that my mind is a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
So just clearing up around me, clearing up as I go, helps to keep me on track. Yeah, so that's definitely one
Totally
of mine.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, my early warning sign is my concentration levels go down, and I find myself, I'm reading 3 or 4 books at the same time, and I'm not able to concentrate on one, and I'm moving to another one to try and, read that story. So my action plan is basically, I take one book, I put the 3 or 4 others away and just finish, so that I have a sense of achievement that I finished one book.
Yeah, part-time.
And that helps me. Yeah.
So it's like, Lorna, you're taking on too much with, as you say, all
Yeah.
the books. And then by focusing on one small task, it makes you feel more in control of it.
It does, yes, very much so. Yeah.
I think with me, an early warning sign will be, I'm a talker, and all of you know that I'm a talker, but
No.
I actually get quiet. I get really, really quiet, and I actually don't want to talk. I'll sit down and I'll watch TV, and there'll be conversations going on around me, or people will be speaking. I just, now, not that I'm anyway rude to anybody, I'm in my head. I'm just, and it's actually my husband who always would, or my mother or a close friend would say to me, you're very quiet in yourself. And immediately then I know that that's my amber light flashing, because the fact that I'm internalizing things means that I need to talk. And what I do then is immediately I go to my go-to person, which is either my husband, my best friend, or my mother, and I will just pick up the phone, or I'll just say to himself, Jesus, yeah, I am feeling, a little bit overwhelmed. There mightn't be anything such wrong, but it just might be life, just being overwhelmed with life. And I find the minute that I verbalize it and kind of get rid of it out of my body, that I start to come back to myself again. So that's me basically.
It's interesting, Kira, how you said that your husband noticed it in you rather than maybe noticing it in yourself. So yeah, sometimes they can be so subtle, and we may not see them ourselves. So who knows us very well can know.
Yeah. For me, one of the things about the amber, that early warning sign, it's a bit like driving a car, and if you're driving a car and the oil light comes on, it's like a flashing light. And if you ignore that flashing light, that the fact that the car needs oil, and you continue to drive the car, what happens is the engine will seize, and then it's a massive amount of money. You either have to buy a new engine or maybe a new car, which is a huge cost. Whereas when the amber light or the flashing oil light comes on, and you pay heed to it, go out and buy your oil for the engine, which will cost you a couple of euro, that you kind of, it's like a detour. You're heading it off at the pass. You're paying heed to the flashing or the amber light, and that it helps you to avoid the expense or the hassle or the effort or the whatever else you want to look upon it. Not going to the red lights. That's the way I look upon it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, we have our, as you're saying, Deirdre, not going to the red light. When we are finding ourselves heading towards this flashing amber, it's really about recognizing it, and rather than heading straight for the red, taking a detour, as you said, Deirdre, learning to help yourself here, or else reaching out for help or for support, so that things don't get worse.
Yeah.
And really, that's what early warning signs are all about. Thank you.